This, from former Florida Republican Congressman David Jolly, is worth sitting with for a minute. He said this: "I think Ron DeSantis is far more dangerous than Donald Trump for a very specific reason. Donald Trump is willing to ignore the rules, ignore the Constitution, and frankly lead to the incitement of January 6th. But Donald Trump is a transactional figure, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. Ron DeSantis, I believe, actually in his ethos is a cultural warrior who wants to take us back 100 years and believes he can use the Constitution to that end, and ultimately has a very dark vision of what America will be." Now, the argument that sits at the center of this view goes something like this: Trump lacks any sort of core beliefs, and therefore isn't ever going to push a certain agenda on the public. He'll do whatever he thinks will make him more popular, and that tendency makes him less threatening. DeSantis, on the other hand, is a cultural warrior. He's demonstrated his willingness to use the levers of government, and use them effectively, to forward his own ideological agenda. The fight against Disney, by the way, is the most obvious example of that ideological agenda. But because DeSantis has a belief system, he in theory poses more of a danger of imposing that belief system on the country. Ergo, he is more dangerous than Trump. There's some truth in this. Trump is utterly transactional. He has been on both sides of virtually every issue you can possibly think of. His beliefs are totally and completely fungible. Sidebar: I still remember during the 2016 campaign when someone asked me whether Trump or Ted Cruz was more conservative. I laughed, because there's really no comparison. Cruz, whether you like him or not, has a conservative belief system that he, generally speaking, adheres to. Trump, does not. End of sidebar. So DeSantis is like Cruz. There's a belief system undergirding his policy proposals and strategy. He has an image of America and is committed to using his position in government to seeing that image realized. So there's that. The fundamental flaw with Jolly's argument, at least as I see it, is that Trump's transactionality, which isn't a word, but you get my point, is the very thing that makes him oodles more dangerous than DeSantis. The only thing that undergirds Trump's actions is a belief that he must win at all costs. Or as one smart Republican put it to me, Trump is forever building a mansion for his own ego. There's no regulator on Trump. No sense that he might be taking things too far, or that what he is doing is detrimental to the well-being of either his party or the country. And this is, by the way, not simply a theoretical discussion. Donald Trump has, in both of his national elections, contested the results. In the 2016 election, which, by the way, he won, he claimed with zero proof that 3 to 5 million illegal votes had been cast. He did so because he was insecure about losing the popular vote to Hillary Rodham Clinton. Then there's the 2020 election, which Trump not only refused to concede, but actively sought to overturn, both at the federal and the state level. And when it was clear he wasn't going to get his way, Trump helped foment an armed insurrection at the US Capitol on January 6, 2021. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The sitting president of the United States contested his electoral defeat, tried to pressure various state and federal officials to overturn the results of that election, and when all that didn't work, rallied a mob to the US Capitol. And not only has Trump never apologized for his actions after the election, he has in fact doubled and tripled down on his false claims about that election. And of late, he's begun to express sympathy for many of the rioters who were arrested for storming the Capitol on January the 6th. Ron DeSantis is not even in the same universe as Trump on this stuff. Like, not close. Here's another way to think about the threat posed by Trump versus the one posed by DeSantis. Let's say you're drawing a line from the most liberal politician you can think of to the most conservative one. That line might look something, for the sake of this discussion, like this. But Trump, again, due to his pure transactional nature and complete lack of a belief system, doesn't fit on that traditional spectrum. He is entirely driven by what's good for him and what makes him look and feel like a winner, which makes everything justifiable. So if you were going to add Trump to that line graph, it would look like this. DeSantis is just another conservative politician who wants to install his ideological agenda nationwide. If you're a liberal, that's probably scary to you, and understandably so. But DeSantis exists within established boundaries of political thought and speech. There's nothing in his background to suggest that if he lost the 2024 election, the primary or the general, he would insist he had been done dirty. He was the victim of a massive conspiracy designed to keep him from the White House. Trump has not only done just that, but has also taken to suggesting already that the 2024 election is going to be rigged. So what? Trump represents a unique threat to American democracy simply because he already came close to overturning the results of a free and fair election. DeSantis, while you may disagree with his views and what he sees as the proper role for government, isn't even in the same ballpark as Trump on this stuff. Put simply, Trump is infinitely more dangerous to the American democratic experiment than DeSantis. It's apples and oranges stuff.